Yo, Cooking Cowboy here again for another episode. I think number 7 now. Wow, it's picking up some pace. And this week is another triple S threat of a recipe. It is always super easy, super fun, and super tasty. So you're going to love it. Everybody's going to love it. And it is the amazing meatballs and courgette. So who doesn't like meatballs? Who doesn't love courgette? Healthier than spaghetti, and the meatballs, well, meatballs are going to be healthy, but you're going to love them. They're gluten-free, and yeah, it's definitely one for the week. Super easy to bring together. So check out the recipe. That's going to be coming up next. And of course, we now have the great, the legendary country music shout out. I'm going to be shouting out 2 artists this week that I absolutely love, and that is the first one, Adam Doliek. One of my favourite new artists. He has a couple of EPs out on iTunes, and I presume they're on Spotify. I'm not on it. Shh, I'm only on iTunes. But yeah, Adam Doliek, one of my favourite new artists on the scene. He's got this really cool vibe to his music. It's kind of new school country, which I love, and definitely one for the summer tunes, even though in the UK, it's always raining at the moment. So check out Adam Doliek. And then the other person that I absolutely love, he's only got a couple of songs out, but that is Cameron Marlowe. Check this guy out. Listen to Giving You Up. Oh, wow. That is a song. His voice is just, it will just blow you away. So check those 2 artists out. They are a country music shout out from the Cooking Cowboy himself. We're going to dive into the ingredients next. So let's go. Okay, team, here we are. We are diving into the ingredients, as always, diving in, and we're going to start on our left-hand side. Recipe is nice and simple. As you can see, it all fits on my board. We've got some lovely beef mince, nice lean British beef mince there, 500 grams of that, nice and simple. We got some red pepper. I always like to add a bit of red pepper into my meatball dishes, into the sauces. Just gives it that little bit of jazz, a little bit of flavour. Of course, we've got our lovely passata, so important for a, tomato-based dish. Here we have something that most of you guys probably won't have heard of going into a meatball, but it's linseed. And the reason I'm using linseed instead of breadcrumbs as another kind of binding agent in my meatball is because it's gluten-free and it's easier to get hold of. I've just combined it with 2 tablespoons of water, and as you can see, it's quite nice and thick. And it's just a binding agent, that's all it's doing. It's not really adding any much flavour. We're going to move on to, of course, a little bit of garlic. As you can see, there is a whole bulb and there is some chopped garlic as well. The chopped is going to be going into the meatball, so it gets more kind of cover, and the whole bulb I'm actually going to crush a bit later on, and that's going to go into the sauce. You've got to love a bit of garlic. Tomato passata, here we are. A nice bit of tomato passata. That just brings that real rich flavour to the tomato sauce, which is so important. Turmeric, of course, my favourite spice. Always going into one of these dishes. It's absolutely perfect for this dish. Gives it a little bit of zest, a little bit of interesting, a bit more interesting. Oregano, of course, it's an Italian recipe. You've got to have some oregano in there. Always buy a nice oregano as well. Much more flavour, much more punch. A nice bay leaf. That's going to go into the sauce to keep that roundness. We've got some pink Himalayan salt, of course. Some black pepper crushed in the pestle and mortar. I always like to do it that way. It just gives that loads of punch with my pepper. Some red onion. As you can see, I've just chopped it up, roughly chopped up red onion. Some's going to go in the meatballs, some's going to go in the sauce. So you're just going to get that nice round flavour of onion in your dish. And then lastly, my courgette. People thinking, why are you putting a courgette in there? Well, instead of spaghetti, I'm going to be doing courgette. Slightly different, slightly lighter, less carbohydrates in the evening. I always prefer to be a little bit lighter on the carbohydrate state in the evenings. So this is the perfect accompaniment for your meatball tomato spaghetti or courgette. What is it? Meatballs and courgette. That's a beautiful way of saying it. So we're going to dive in, bring this all together, and see you on the other side.
days, time passed, wedding day. Then my feet turned cold at the tone of those wedding bells. I felt bad, everybody got dressed up, but I knew I'd messed up, so I had to fess up that all I really wanted was just to get drunk as hell. So I jilted that poor woman and I got drunk as hell. I'm a talking about hellfire, hellfire, yeah, hellfire, hellfire. Oh hellfire, that's where I'm bound. I'm a talking about hellfire, hellfire, yeah, hellfire, hellfire. Oh hellfire, that's where I'm bound. Sinful, needing grace. Sunday morning, knew the place. So I stumbled into church and sat down for a spell. A few minutes in, I felt free of sin. So I polished off my bottle of bathtub gin and got stinking, dirty, awful, drunk as hell. Yeah, right there in the back pew, I got drunk as hell. I'm talking about hellfire, oh hellfire, yeah, hellfire, that's where I'm bound. I'm talking about hellfire, yeah, hellfire, oh hellfire, that's where I'm bound. All right. Well, my drinking buddy passed away, lightweight, couldn't hang. So I filled my flask and went to say farewell. I stood in the back, dressed in black, tearing up and turning up and getting lit up. Good God, awful, greasy and drunk as hell. I cried, I'm coming for you, buddy, that's where I'm bound. I'm a talking about hellfire, oh hellfire.